Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Liz and this is Let's Get Lizical, where we do everything card making. And today we're going to be making another Easter card, but I'm going to be using the Cozy Slipper dies from Spellbinders. And I'm also going to be using the Pretty Bows die from Simon Says Stamp and just some circle nesting dies. I'm not actually going to end up using this Lawn Fawn stamp set again. But I did bring it out just in case I needed the sentiments. I'm also using this Doodlebug paper from 2024 called Bunny Hop. And if it's still available, I will link everything down in the description below. So yeah, I, again, only have this one Easter stamp set and this one paper pad. So that's all I have to make Easter cards. And I don't really have any bunny stamps or little chicks or anything, so I was trying to figure out what else I could do for some Easter cards, and I was like, oh yeah, there's bunnies in the Cozy Toes Slippers die set. And originally I was gonna put two bunny heads on here and try to like mirror cut the die by, you know, flipping the paper over. I am using like a velvet paper from Simon, which I thought was pretty fun because now the bunny is actually fuzzy. And it's the first time I've tried it, so it's pretty cool. I might try it with some Santa dies or something at some point for Christmas. That would also be fun to make like Santa's beard or like the fur trims on his hat and jacket in like the velvet. It's not like a bright white or anything, it's kind of like an off-white, but it's okay, it still works. And it's really cute. So I ended up cutting up this bunny pattern background, which is very busy. I am going to end up cutting a circle out of it because I kind of like flipped to the banner paper behind it just for a little bit of contrast. I kind of wish I didn't do that looking back at this card. I kind of think the bunny's head might have, you know, showed up a bit better if I had just left it plain pattern background. But, you know, you live and you learn. And the circle probably could have used another white mat behind it that was a little bit bigger, but, you know, hindsight's 2020, and I was kind of making up this card on the fly real quick, so that's what happens when you don't plan properly. But right now, I was trying to put the backing for the eyes and the nose onto the velvet paper, but it's a little bit thin and you can kind of see through it. So I peeled that off. There was a little bit left over here, but I got most of it off. And I'm just backing the bunny head with white cardstock, which was what I was going to do anyway because this paper is a bit more on the flimsy side. And I did that and then put the black behind it that way, just so it wasn't as see-through. And I cut the inside of the bunny ears and the cheeks that get cut with it in this like hot magenta pink, and I'm going to be using that for the ears. I'm actually going to peel up the nose and also make the nose pink just because I found that the 3 black dots was a little bit too much. So here I am just using an X-Acto knife to like get the tab off. I'm hoping that's what this cut piece is for. There's not really instructions with these dies, and I'm not sure if I've ever seen it constructed this way, but this die seems to cover the eyes and the noses for the characters, so that's what I'm assuming this die is for. I could have cut it in white and then just kind of like colored the two ends for the eyes in one color and then the tab for the nose in another color, which I might do for next time, but I just decided to cut it out and put a little bit of the pink behind it. And I used one of the cheeks because I didn't want to use the hot pink for the cheeks and the nose, so I ended up using a bit of like a peachy colored alcohol marker and just blending a bit onto the velvet. It took it pretty well, but then I used a colorless blender on top of that just to help bleed it out, and it made it look a lot more like blush just because it kind of like bled into like the flocking that the velvet paper is. And it just looks like super cute and nice. Maybe a different pink would have been better, but Again, I was just kind of, you know, going with the flow with this card. And then for the bow, I wanted the insides of the bow to be like a darker color because it would be in shadow. I would prefer if like die sets like these came with like little cut pieces so you could cut another piece of cardstock and put it behind. But I ended up doing some paper piecing and just blending a little bit of alcohol marker on top of the same cardstock to darken it. And then I'm just going to place that. Thankfully, it all stayed in the die, so I could just lay it on top and like push the pieces into place. I couldn't find the original ones, which I was going to try to color, and now that I'm looking at it, this was much easier anyway. And I am going to use the bottom part of that bow as well, just because I thought it would be a little bit better if the bow was kind of on the same level, because I used the 2 cardstocks for the bunny's head, so I wanted to use an extra layer just to give it a little bit more of the same height. And that's what I'm doing right here, and it just helps even it out a little bit. The cardstock behind the eyes and nose still prop it up a little bit further, but that's okay. We're going to be putting this up on some foam tape anyway. I think the bunny would have worked on these banner strips too if I just done that. But I am going to cut out this circle here and try to center it up as much as possible using the grid. And I just kind of like lined up the little like nodes that are left over after you cut these circle dies apart. These are ones I just grabbed off of Amazon because for nesting dies, I don't really care where I buy those. They are a bit like flimsy and cheaper, so it's probably better to order from the legit companies, but just for quality purposes, but they still work, so I'm just going to continue using these. And again, I should have probably used the next size up for like another white layer in between instead of just inserting it back in place. But I'm just going to actually cut a white one out here in a second. I put the glue down first, and then I was like, oh, I kind of want it to be propped up a little bit more. So I just cut another one in the white as quickly as I could so that I could get it into that glue before it completely dried. And this will just help prop up that panel a little bit more. I should have maybe, again, cut 2 layers. I'm like, I should have done this, should have done this, should have done this, whatever. This card is still cute. I don't hate it, but it could have been better, I think, if I had made a few different decisions here. You will see in like the final photos that after I was done filming, I ended up adding some white highlights to like the eyes, the nose, the ears, the bow, just to give it a little bit more life. And then I took a permanent marker and like a fine tipped one and colored in the mouth. It is embossed into the cardstock, but because it's velvet, you can't really tell. So I just thought I would make it a little bit more prominent. And I don't know, I might have like left that off, but I just thought it would make it look a little bit better with the mouth. So I'm just gonna put a little bit more foam tape behind this. I did have to take off the piece I had there because it was showing a bit. You can't really see it on the camera, but it was showing a bit underneath, in between the strands that come down from the bow. So I ended up just like cutting that off, but I felt like the bow still needed a little bit more support, so I just added some foam tape. And then for the sentiment, I'm just going to cut out this little tiny Happy Easter. They're all kind of like in the same coordinating like magenta pinks. So it worked out, and it was a quick and simple thing. Didn't need to stamp anything, just cut it out. And then that's our card for today. So thanks again for joining me today, guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Comment down below and let me know what your thoughts are. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done that, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future content. And until next week, thanks guys. Bye.